All right, so training camp is right around the corner, people. The Giants community is getting excited. Um, the spaces, if you're in the spaces, there's a lot of excitement there too. High expectations. Some people don't have as high expectations, but there are some expectations for the Giants. And with us getting so close to training camp, I want to talk about some of the rookie roles going into 2023. Now, I'm going to break it up into three different categories. I am going to talk about the rookie class and some UDFAs, but the three categories are going to be people that are fighting for a roster spot, people that I believe are going to be contributors throughout the year, whether they start right off the bat or gradually grow into contributors. And then I'm going to be talking about the instant impact players that are rookies going into the 2023 season. So hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. So let's talk about people that I believe are fighting for roster spots. So I'm just going to go down the list. It's going to be some of the late round draft picks, and there's going to be some UDFAs that are on this list. So you know what I'm going to do first? I want to talk about Tommy DeVito, UDFA, a quarterback. I believe this guy is going to make the team by default due to the new rule where you have the emergency quarterback spot. Now, he will not count against the 53. Now, this is also if the Giants do not pick up another quarterback going into training camp, preseason, or after the roster cut down. But I can see Tommy DeVito being one of those guys that fit that role for the emergency quarterback, not counting against the roster, but also being there in order or in case of emergency, exactly like the title says. But I don't see him actually, making a team outside of that particular situation. So just want to talk about Tommy DeVito just a little bit. Showed some stuff in OTA, he showed some stuff in minicamp. He was thrown with the third team, of course, but he built some chemistry with Colin Johnson, built some chemistry with Hyatt, and a lot of the guys that are lower on the depth chart, Bryce Ford Wheaton. We'll see what happens in the preseason games. He will be getting some snaps. He will be able to earn a spot on the team. But like I said, we already know it's going to be Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor. And because of this emergency quarterback position, I believe Tommy DeVito falls into that category. Now let's talk about some of these guys that I think are on the bubble when it comes to making this team. Deontay Johnson, UDFA, Baldonado from Pittsburgh, a UDFA. Now I put these guys on the list just because of the depth at the positions, interior linebacker and also the edge room. There's not a lot of depth in both of those positions. Now, of course, we're not keeping a lot for both positions, but when you think about the interior linebacker spot, you have Bobby Okereke. You have three guys fighting for the spot next to him. That's going to be Micah McFadden, that's going to be Darian Beavers, and that's going to be Jared Davis. Outside of that, you got guys like Carter Coughlin and Cam Brown that are sole special teams type of players. So if Deontay Johnson has a chance to crack that interior linebacker room, he has to be able to beat out guys like Carter Coughlin and Cam Brown. Now, do I think he beats out a guy like Cam Brown? Probably not. Cam Brown was pretty much a Pro Bowl and a captain on the team when it comes to special teams. So I don't think it's going to be possible, but I have to give him that chance because he does have the skill set to be possibly better than what a lot of people expect him to be. When it comes to Baldonado, rookie from Pittsburgh, UDFA, 6'5", 250 pounds. The man is chiseled. He looks like what you want an edge rusher to look like. But here's the thing. He is very, very raw. Very, very raw player. But still, can he crack that? And you know what's crazy? I think it might be easier for him to make the team than Deontay Johnson. When we think about the edge room, we think about Azeez Ojulari, we think about Kayvon Thibodeau. After that, we have Jihad Ward. Then after that, we have O'Shane Ximines. Okay. Is O'Shane Ximines' spot solidified on this team? Is it a shoo-in that he's going to make the 53? I don't believe so, but we did re-sign him. He is familiar with the system. He did make some plays last year, some pretty big plays too last year throughout the season. But do you take what you know is O'Shane Ximines, or do you take the possible ceiling of a guy like Baldonado, being that he's so young, he's so raw? Can you make something of him in the NFL. Now, here's the thing. I think Baldonado does not make the team, but I do think that he's able to stick to the practice squad, hopefully, because he has that type of skill set and raw ability that you can develop and mold and possibly turn into a guy that makes the team maybe next year or maybe the year after that, depending on how long he can, stick around. But I do like the skill set of Baldonado. I do like what he shows on the field. And again, he pretty much does not even know what he's doing yet. So when Wink Martindale gets his hands on him, along with that staff, the defensive staff, I think that they'll be able to coach him up. Don't think it's going to be enough for him to prove himself this year, but definitely a guy that could shock me. I could be wrong. I hope I am wrong. He could turn into one of these guys in the future that can contribute, for the New York Giants. Now, the next guy, I believe, is fighting for a roster spot. Some people think I'm crazy. And sometimes I think I'm crazy myself when I think about this guy. It's going to be Bryce Ford-Wheaton. I know everybody's like, wait a minute, he's absolutely making the roster. The kid is 6'4". He's 220 pounds. He ran a 4.3 40. Yes, I understand that. But when I think about this wide receiver room and the pieces that we added, who does he take the place of when you think about if we're going to keep, whether 6 or 7 wide receivers? Will I be shocked if he did make the 53? Absolutely not. Would I be shocked if he didn't make the 53? Kind of, because I don't think he's the type of talent that'll make it to the practice squad. And I don't think that with the money that we signed him for, that we're going to actually put him on the practice squad. I think he's going to have a chance to be on the 53. He's going to have a chance to develop, and then we're going to see what happens. And guess what? If we hit on a guy like Bryce Ford-Wheaton, we're looking at something special. We're building a young wide receiver core. We just drafted Jalen Hyatt. I will be talking about him a little bit later in this video. But if you start to build this nucleus of young receivers around your quarterback from your own farm, from scratch, and you have your own homegrown talent. So Bryce Ford-Wheaton, I believe, has a chance to make this squad. A lot of people think he's definitely going to make the squad, but I do think he's going to be able to be developed with the New York Giants if we're able to hold on to him, whether it's on the practice squad or whether it's on the 53. Okay, so let's talk about these draft picks now. I'm going to talk about 7th round pick, 6th round picks. So first, I'm going to talk about Javarius Owens and the safety out of Houston. When we drafted him, I thought he was going to be strictly like a thumper type of safety. Once we drafted him, I watched a little bit more tape on him. He had a great mini camp. He had a great OTA. He's showing that he's has some ability in the coverage game too, and he's fighting for one of those positions at the safety spot. Now, he's a little bit lower on the depth chart because that safety room turned into who's going to be next to McKinney, to about 4 people fighting for that spot. And of course, McKinney is going to be the starting safety. He is the green dot wearer for the New York Giants. But after that, you have Dane Belton, you have Jason Pinnock, you have Nick McLeod, you have Javarius Owens, you have Trenton Thompson. All these guys are fighting for the spot next to Xavier McKinney. Now, for me, Javarius Owens, I don't know if he has a chance to crack it and be the starter, safety next to Xavier McKinney. But he has a chance, and I think they're going to give him a chance. Bobby McCain was another name that I missed when I was talking about these guys. It's a lot of guys fighting for that safety spot. And Javarius Owens might be on the outside looking in, but it's going to be his play in training camp. It's going to be his play in preseason, because I think a lot of these guys are going to have the chance to be the starter next to Xavier McKinney. It's just about who's going to be the guy that takes that spot. Now, I do believe it's going to be Dane Belton's spot to lose. I think they're going to give Dane Belton every opportunity to keep that safety spot, that starting safety spot next to McKinney. But who knows what's going to happen. He didn't really participate in the OTAs or the minicamp because he was recovering from the shoulder surgery. But again, training camp is coming up. It's right around the corner. Guys have to prove that they're the safety next to Xavier McKinney. Now, the next person I want to talk about is Jordan Riley, defensive tackle. And I got to be honest, I don't think he makes the team, and it's not anything against him. When you think about how many guys you're going to keep as far as defensive tackles, you already have Leonard Williams, you already have Dexter Lawrence, Ashawn Robinson, Nacho. It's going to be hard to crack that. And how many defensive tackles do we really keep on the 53? It's a lot of positions where you might mess around and go 8 wide receivers. Somebody, that means somebody is losing a spot somewhere else, and it could be that defensive tackle spot because you already have 4 strong defensive tackles. Now, the battle with Jordan Riley is going to be DJ Davidson. He's coming off of ACL. So I believe it's going to be those two fighting for that fifth spot, if there's even a fifth spot on that defensive line. So that's Jordan Riley also fighting for a spot. And then the last guy that I'm going to talk about in the later rounds is going to be Trey Hawkins. Now, Trey Hawkins has a pretty good following. Had a fantastic rod score, athleticism throughout, through the roof. The guy's 6'3", almost 200 pounds, cornerback, physical. Did not play against a high level of competition at Old Dominion, but he has that dog in him, and you can see it on the film that he has that dog in him. A little bit of a trash talker, kind of exactly what you need. Now, here's another thing for him. Is he a cornerback? Is he a safety? Is he a hybrid? You really don't know. And, the more valuable you are, the more versatile you are, the better chance you can have making the team. Now, I do know that Wink Martindale's a fan. I do know that Jerome Henderson also is a fan. And if you have these guys talking about you, your chances are probably going to be pretty high on making the squad. So he's another guy. And when you think about the cornerbacks, I think we only keep 6 cornerbacks, 4 safeties. Will the numbers game hurt him, or will he have just enough ability that you take him over a guy that you've seen that's proven or a veteran, and you want to go with that young talent because you think that you can mold him and he can have, or he has a higher ceiling than one of these guys that are possibly older than him? So Trey Hawkins, another guy fighting for a roster spot. Now let's get into these contributors. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Now we have 4 draft picks left. We have Deonte Banks, John Michael Schmitz, Jalen Hyatt, and Eric Gray. 2 of these guys are going to be on my contributor list. 2 of these guys are going to be on the instant impact, and it's pretty easy to tell right now. It's pretty easy. So the 2 guys on my contributor list is going to be Eric Gray and it's going to be Jalen Hyatt. Now, the thing with Eric Gray, because I do want to talk about him first, I believe that at some point early in the season, Eric Gray will solidify his spot as the running back number 2. Now, depending on what's going on with Saquon Barkley, depending on how fast he reports to camp, whether they get the deal done, whether it's he signs a tender, that's going to determine how many snaps Eric Gray is going to get. Now, when it comes to the preseason, I don't believe they play Barkley at all in the preseason. Maybe a couple of series, maybe not even that, because we already know who Saquon Barkley is. But when it comes to Eric Gray, Gary Brightwell, Jashawn Corbin, these guys are going to be fighting for the running back number 2 spot, the running back number 3 spot. You throw Brady in there as well, but him being a rookie and working in the system for so long kind of gives him the leg up on a lot of these guys. But who knows? They might want to go with the younger talent because the ceiling might be higher for these guys if they develop. And a guy like Eric Gray will have all the opportunity in the world to be the running back number 2 to Saquon Barkley. And I really, really believe that he's going to be the guy. He's going to end up winning that job. Now, that's whether if Matt Breida makes the 53 or he becomes a surprise cut. Eric Gray will be the running back number 2, in my opinion, going into the 2023 season. Now, if it happens the first week or the 5th week, I don't know. But trust me, that's absolutely going to happen. I can't wait to see the preseason games with Eric Gray in them. I can't wait to see these preseason games with a lot of guys I mentioned already, even the UDFAs. Now, that's going to move it along to Jalen Hyatt. And a lot of people might be shocked that I'm saying that he's going to be a contributor and not an instant impact player. He has to crack that wide receiver room first. And I know it sounds crazy. He was awarded the best wide receiver in college. The speed is there. The height is there. Has great hands. He doesn't drop anything. Better route runner than people give him credit for. But he still has to learn this offense. He still has to build that chemistry with Daniel Jones. And he still has to know what he's doing as far as his assignments. And it's more than just catching the ball. It's blocking assignments as a wide receiver. You already know all the Giants jargon when it comes to these wide receivers. They need to be able to do a lot of things, not just being able to receive and run fast and stuff like that. But Jalen Hyatt, even though I have him listed as a contributor, I could be absolutely wrong, and I hope I am wrong. But he has the ability to be an instant impact guy, depending on how fast he grasps this offense and how fast he earns the trust of the coaching staff. So that's all up to him. And if anything, or if I believe anything, is that Jalen Hyatt has no issues with proving himself, to the coaching staff, because he's done it over and over and over again, from high school to college, now to the pros. I believe that he has that forever chip on his shoulder. And as long as he has that, he has the work ethic, he has the family background to keep him pushed. He's level. And, best of luck to Jalen Hyatt. but I will keep him in the contributor list and not the instant impact list for right now. And again, I hope that I'm absolutely wrong. Jalen Hyatt, shout out to you. You know that I'm rooting for you. Now, the next two guys, I go back and forth. It's pretty much preference when I say who's going to have the bigger impact. But for me, the bigger impact has to come from the center, John Michael Schmitz, rookie out of Minnesota. For me, I think his role probably is the most important to the offense. I think his role to this offense could possibly be more important than Deonte Banks' role on the defense. And just me saying that right now, I'm like, what are you talking about? John Michael Schmitz, I think about this offense, and it's not just about Daniel Jones. It's about the running backs as well. Keeping a clean pocket, able to create holes in the run game. John Michael Schmitz can do all that. Now, he's 24 years old. A lot of people, treated that like a knock. But here's the thing. He's older, yes. To me, I think he has his grown man strength already. That's one thing I would say. If you want to knock his age, you know what? He's probably stronger than a lot of rookies that are coming out this year. You see it. You saw it at the Senior Bowl. You saw it throughout his college career. If you watch the tape of John Michael Schmitz, what I call beautifully boring tape, because he does everything right, gets all of his assignments, and is just almost perfect in his assignments. He's perfect in his assignments. So, John Michael Schmitz, very important to this team, to this offense. Vital early on, instant impact. Now, here's the thing. He can impact this team positively, but if he doesn't get a grasp of this offense, or he's not able to adjust to the skills, he could impact this team negatively. Now, for me, I'm absolutely confident in John Michael Schmitz, so I'm going to leave it alone at that right now. So the last guy I want to talk about is Deonte Banks. What is there to say about Deonte Banks? The guy has the dog in him. The type of dog that we've been missing for a while, especially in the secondary. Now, Xavier McKinney is a dog, absolutely. But something about Deonte Banks is just a little bit different, a little bit more attitude. And that's a lot to say, because Xavier McKinney exudes all that as well. So I think the pairing, having these two guys in your secondary for years to come. Again, McKinney is coming up on a contract year. Does it get done for him? We don't know, but I would love to see it. I would love for these guys to be, the building blocks to the secondary for the New York defense for years to come. But Deonte Banks has everything you want. Has the ability to be a cornerback number one in the near future. He can be the CB1 as early as the end of this year. He does have Adoree Jackson, a solid cornerback to learn from. He does have one of the best secondary coaches in the league in Jerome Henderson. No doubt about that. And Deonte Banks, again, we saw the interview, or we heard the interview, watched it. His college coach talking about the type of player he is. He has that short memory, something that you need as a cornerback. If he makes a mistake, he's right back on it. His own hardest critic, a perfectionist to say the least. But again, Deonte Banks is everything you want, and he's absolutely easy to root for. I believe Adoree Jackson had the interview, and they were talking about him, and he said how he fit right in. He's not shy, he's vocal, he's a quick learner, quick study, and he's absolutely, physical. And he's a big guy, almost 6'2", 200-pound, solid cornerback. Exactly what the New York Giants have been missing, and exactly what the New York Giants fan base has been waiting for. And I believe he's going to be one of those instant impact guys, especially when you think about game number one. In that wide receiver room over with Dallas, you want to be able to see this guy, even though he's a rookie, you want to be able to see this guy be exactly who we think he can be, as far as where we drafted him and the high expectations that came with that. So that's going to be my video talking about the rookie roles for the 2023 season. I want to thank you guys for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.